3, 2, 1, boom, let's go. Selay.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? You right?
Good. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for doing all the way and do the PCR and everything to, you know, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm so happy. If you want, you can come closer to the mic and put it in the front. I'm so happy because I don't know you. And it's one of these things that you have the feeling that this podcast is going to be so good today. And I'm so happy because Chris told me about you, and immediately we send the messages and we connect.
Yeah, he came to see me in the north. We went to Mediz Beach the second time he came to the north, and he said, I talked to this guy. He's really cool. He has a podcast. You have to meet him. I told him, you have to talk to her. I said, okay.
That's so good. That's so good. And it's so good that you're doing, you and Chris and all the other people. Finally, we see some light in the tunnel, you know, about Unite Cyprus. Mm-hmm. And people work individually through social media, through podcasts, through platforms, through any, you call it, you name it, magazines and stuff. Because, you know what, we're tired of this thing. We're tired. It's been like 50 years almost. And sometimes we see that we don't have anything to
there's no reason to
fight.
There's
no reason to be divided, to fight, to be divided. So I want to start by letting everyone know who you are, you know? Like, how did you start it? Let's say about your page.
Okay, so my page is called The Cypriot Story. It started last year on July 13th. Basically, I was sitting around with my mom thinking that I was going to be in a quarantine for 2 weeks, waiting for my test to come back, because when you enter the north, you had to wait. You did a test first before you came, then you did another test, and you waited. So some people waited 2 weeks, some people waited 3 days. It depends on how fast your test came back. So I told her, you know, this summer is going to be different. It's not going to be like the other summers because we're not going to be able to cross to the south. She said, that's okay. You can figure out something in the north that you've never seen before because you always come to the south every year. Okay. And she told me, you know, you travel too much. You spend too much money. You buy too much clothes. You eat out too much. Does this make you happy? I said, I guess. She said, no, it's not making you happy. You need a goal. And just so I wouldn't feel embarrassed in front of her, I said, I do have a goal. She said, what? And the only goal I've ever had was to do something good for Cyprus. Because I feel like a lot of us have given up on Cyprus. After the division, I know like my own father has given up on Cyprus. He left before the war. And lots of people left after the war. And it's just kind of like every year we get more hopeless. And it's sad because this is our island. If we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Exactly.
So my mom, I told her, I want to do something nice. She said, hade, do it. Hade, what are you going to do? I said, okay, I'll open a page. Because, you know, we always had this problem when we came to the south and we met people, they would be shocked. First, they would be shocked that we spoke English so well. They'd be shocked that we look like them. They were like, are you sure you're from the north? Like, from the north? This face, like...
Like Game of Thrones north, like, you're coming from the north.
And I say, oh, we're from the ghost town. People live there? Yeah, people like us. They were like, you know, just these kind of imagination.
If you breathe normally and if you eat normally, what do you eat? And, you know, if you're not an alien. By the way, your mom, she made a smart move, you know, save some money and also put her daughter in the right place. So good job, Mom.
And she was ready to help me. She said, whatever you need, I'm going to help you. I said, okay. So whenever you make something, real traditional Cypriot food, I'm going to take a picture. Okay. She's very happy. You know, Cypriot moms, whatever they can do for you, they love to.
Yeah, exactly. You know what they say about the Cypriot mom? They say that they don't live for them, they live for their kids.
Of course,
you know, for their children. Yeah.
Even right now at this age, Mom, can you braid my hair? Sure. Can you brush my hair? Yeah. She's ready.
A mom is always a mom, and kids are always their kids, you know.
I feel here it's a little bit more. We never get old.
Yeah.
My grandmother's 90 years old. She keeps telling my mom what to do. You shouldn't do this. You should eat this. You should go here. It's
a Mediterranean vibe, you know. It's because, I don't know, everything starts and ends from the sun. Yeah. And because the sun makes everything warm, it makes you warm. You know, if it was a cold blood country, you're like, for example, Norway, I'm giving an example, you know, maybe things there are not like in the Mediterranean. Because you see this in Italy, you see this in Turkey, you see this in Greece, you see this maybe in Israel or Lebanon or any other, Syria. So it's something going on with the sun, There's something going on with the sun.
I was actually born in Canada, and as you say, in Canada, the family unit is much different. So children leave the house at 16. A lot of kids even get kicked out of the house at 16. They get their own apartment. They live their own life. They start working at 15. I told my mom I wanted to start working. She was so shocked. Why? What have we done to you? Why you want to do this to me? I'm like, Mom, all my friends are working. What will they say in Cyprus? I said, what will they say? How will they know? No. I told her, look, I got a job at McDonald's. McDonald's? Why are you doing this to me? What a disaster. Why are you doing this to me? I told her, look, I'm going to do my studies because I think we feel our parents didn't get to study like we did.
Yeah.
Our grandparents didn't get to study like we did. So the most important thing for a Cypriot child is to study, to do all the things that they didn't get to do. So they thought, if you work, it's going to take away from that. So they didn't want to do that.
Yeah. How many years you stay in Canada?
26.
26 years. That's good. Which place?
I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, but I went to university in Toronto.
So you speak French also?
We tried. 10 years we've learned it in school, but we never got to practice with anyone.
Dude, that is so truth. That is so truth. I spent 3 years and 3 years, and I only remember how to say good morning, good night, and I love you, whatever, something.
When I go to France, I can understand them, and then as soon as I build up the courage to talk to them back, it's 3 days later or 4 days later, and then you leave.
Yeah.
So you don't have constant action there.
I don't know. It's something wrong with the French. I mean, the Spanish in the university when I was in the States, it took me 4 months and I learned to speak Spanish fluently.
That fast.
That
Spanish
fast.
is very fast.
It's very close actually to the Greek. So maybe the whole Latin thing, But I don't know. Maybe it was at the right age, Sometimes it's the right age because it was at the age of 20. So at the age of 20, I had one dream, travel all the countries in Latin America. So that was like a passport, If once
it's
I learned,
your passion.
Yeah, it's a passion, It was something I wanted to do, So what's the name of the page, of your Instagram page?
The page is The Cypriot Story.
The Cypriot Story. And what's the Cypriot Story? What's in it?
So basically, the reason why I called it The Cypriot Story is because it's your story and it's my story, but it's our story. So I try to be fair on the page. If I post something about Turkish-speaking Cypriots, I post something about Greek-speaking Cypriots. I try to include everybody in the story. So there's not only war stories or sad stories. There are beautiful stories. There's food stories. For example, I didn't know that you guys ate the same food that we did until we started posting things on the page and people were saying, hey, my grandma makes that. Hey, my mom makes that. We eat that all the time. Wow, you eat that too? And there's certain things that people in Greece don't eat. People in Turkey don't eat. Only we eat. So I learned that when I lived in Turkey. I actually lived in Istanbul for 10 years. So I worked at schools there. I'm an English teacher, kindergarten teacher. And a lot of times, the food that I saw there, I liked it. It was nice, but it wasn't like my mom's food. It wasn't like my grandma's food. And the things that we eat are weird for them. They would never eat that.
So that is so smart. That's so nice because you know what? You're just mixing stuff. You're mixing cultures. They're not far away. They're very close by. And there's this green line that is divided between them, but it's actually that invisible green line is is something that we invented. But things are very 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 in common. So smart what you're doing.
I just feel like as someone that was born outside, you always feel like an outsider. Whenever we used to come, we came every summer. So we'd come and we wouldn't be like our cousins because our Turkish wasn't good enough. We didn't know enough. We always spoke English, or we didn't know how to eat certain foods, or we didn't know how to act at the beach, or there's certain characteristics that you have as a person living here. And I feel like on the page we see this a lot. So the diaspora Cypriots are different, especially like the Australian ones have their own vibe. The ones in the UK have their own vibe. There's only a few scattered around Canada and the States, but like all of us have come together on the page to talk about this stuff because it feels like, when you're born outside, you're not part of the club. You know, and when you're here, maybe these things aren't so important because you already know you're Cypriot. You already feel that. But when you're abroad, you don't feel Canadian. You don't feel American. You don't feel Australian or from the UK. You feel like something's missing. And you want to find that piece. And I think like people are starting to find that piece on the page.
Exactly. And it's growing that fast, huh? It's growing very fast.
So far, we almost have 7,000.
Yeah, I've seen it. And you know, it's I think it's going to grow too much. It's going to grow as much as further as possible. And it's so nice that you keep it very, how do you say, like nice and quiet and peaceful. And you see that page and it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Probably the most beautiful page I have on my account is in Cyprus is this one. Because, you know, I see this and it brings me happiness. It brings me happiness, you know?
Actually, yesterday, I posted a story about one of my friends that I met on the page. So, you know, I started this page alone. And then slowly, there were like people gravitating towards me, telling me information like, maybe you don't know this, but this happened at this time. Let me give you some tips. Okay, let me give you some sources. Okay, so we started reading. I started sending them information. They started sending me information. And now there's like a group of 4 girls. Maria, Elira, Anastasia, and me, together always kind of like people started calling us the committee. They passed me stories, I passed them stories. And yesterday, Maria, one of them, came with her yaya. She came to Famagusta.
I saw the photo. I saw the photo. It was so beautiful, you know?
She came to Famagusta and it was just so strange because we thought like for 7 months we've been talking and we never saw each other's faces because I don't really like to put my face too much on the page. It wasn't really about me. It was about the culture. Mostly, I want to say it's funny, people thought I was a man. They did not think that I was a girl at all.
You don't post your face.
It's not about that. When you're a smart person, when you're talking about politics, when you're talking about
it's a man's
military strategies, you can't be a woman.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
It's a macho libre.
Yeah. Like, why would a woman care about that stuff? I studied history. I love that stuff. Talking to my grandpa was like the best thing ever.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
Because they have the stories, they have the knowledge. Where can we find information in Cyprus, really?
Exactly.
If you want to know about the north, you can't read Turkish, so you don't know what's going on. If I want to find out about the south, I don't read Greek, so I don't know what's going on. So we kind of made this area where everyone's collecting information and sharing with each other. Yeah.
You put something, a quotation yesterday about this photo. What was it? Like finally after 1 year or 7 months, something you put something like we did something good.
Yeah. So what have we done? What have we done this year? So what did we achieve? So basically I was talking about like what we did together, but also it's very strange how we are so interconnected. You wouldn't even think that we'd be this connected. So sitting at the table, my mom looked at Maria's yaya and she said, so where are you from originally before the war? It's like on our side, for example, we don't call people refugees because all of us are refugees. If you call everyone a refugee, it doesn't make sense. So most of us, maybe a few that were already living in the north. And when we find someone like that, we're like, oh, really? Wow, mashallah. Because you didn't lose anything. Exactly. But so they started talking and she said, actually, I'm from Varosha. We went to go see my house, but it's behind the fence. And then we started talking about where my mom was from. She said, actually, I'm a Bafidi, but I was born in Lefkoşa, but I lived 16 years in Larnaca. So I feel Larnaca is my home. We explained where the home was. And, you know, it's very simple. Everybody knows Larnaca. Everybody loves Larnaca. We're telling them, you go down Finagudis, and then you see the castle.
Turn right.
Then you see the Jami, and you turn left. There's like this archway. 1, 2, 3. So she said, I know your house. We were frozen. What? We said, every time we go there, no one's around. So there's one little lady, Adriani. She's like the muhtari of Larnaca. She saw us and she said, what are you guys doing here? What are you guys looking at? Because this is her neighborhood, you know? She was like, what's going on, guys? We said, oh, you know, we're from the north and we came to see our house. She said, the woman, she's living in your house. She's working in Nicosia. We said, really? Doing what? She's selling accessories. So we said, where is it? On Ledras. We went to Nicosia. We found her shop. We went in and she said, how did you find me? We said, Adriani. She's like, Adriani? Adriani, she told you? We said, yeah. She's like, that Adriani, you know? So we went to talk to her and she said, look, it's weird because many people came to my house saying that it's their house. And we said, like, you know, our families were big. And not only this, you know, in Paphos, there weren't too many Turkish schools. So when it was time for someone to go to school, sometimes they came and stayed with my grandma. So she raised a lot of kids, not only her own. So it is normal that many people would come and say, I lived in this house.
Yeah.
So we still never got to see the house.
A woman would be so pissed.
Yeah, she was so mad. She's like, damn you, Adriani. So one day, Adriani felt so bad for us. She said, look, I have a friend, Stavrula. She lives in the first one. We can go there. And my mom said, one of our family friends lived there. She said, Hadi, let's go. We called Stavrula. We went to the house. She was really happy. Oh, she's like, let's get some cookies. Okay, let me bring some lemonade. Hadi, let's sit down on the balcony and let's talk. And she was from Famagusta. So Adriani and Stavrula were from Famagusta originally. So they told us about their life. And they told us about how they came here to the south. And then they started talking. And, you know, it was so weird because my mom was touching the walls and, like, touching the cupboards.
All those feelings.
And just looking at the floor and just remembering, like, the times that she had in that house. But, like, we became like a family. Every time we come to Larnaca now, when they see us, they're like, hey,
welcome back. Yeah.
Sit down.
Yeah, it's at the beginning, everything looks weird, you know, but after that ice breaks, you know, everything is so easy after. So...
And she even knew some Turkish. She was telling us, kahveci içelim. We're like, how do you know that? And even in our accent.
What does it mean?
You want to drink some coffee? A little coffee? Kahvecik içelim. We're like, içelim? Hadi. She wanted us
love
to
your
come
accent,
over
actually, you
and
know.
stay in the house. She said, sleep over at my house. Don't go home. My mom's like, okay, we'll have a coffee, but sleeping over, it's too much. Don't worry.
Yeah. Don't overdo it, huh?
Yeah. But she was so excited. You know, she's the same age as my grandma. And she swims every morning at 5 a.m. You know, like, she's fit.
Yeah.
You would never think, I wouldn't see a grandma in Canada doing this.
No.
Or somewhere else.
It's because of the weather here. You know, it provides them a good weather so they can swim in the morning.
And she wants to be active. She wants to be fit. She wants to be around, you know?
Yeah.
She has no reason to leave.
What did you think about the Greek Cypriots before you come and visit here? Before you meet the first Greek Cypriots?
I mean, for each family, it's different because I feel like it depends on where you come from. It depends on your village. It depends on how you grew up. So for me, on my mom's side, we didn't have anyone that died in the war specifically. There were some people that were stuck in the prison camps, like my grandfather and my uncle. And also a couple of our cousins got beat up and stuff. I mean, the thing is, they remember their lives with them. They ate with them. They went to the same coffee shops as them. They had lives together. So they were brothers. They were cousins. They were neighbors. It wasn't something, the way that my dad describes it, for example, one of his brothers died in the war. They left before the war. They decided, one of my uncles went to Canada in 1969 or maybe 68, he took a boat from Limassol and went all the way to Canada. He started writing them letters.
From Limassol?
From Limassol. He took a boat for like 21 days. So he started writing them letters. Canada is free. You know, we can do anything we want here. We look white here. We're not going to be subjugated here. Nobody's going to tell us that we're less than anything here. You guys should come here. We're going to have a future here. So he kept on writing them letters like this, and they thought, okay, maybe he's right. So they left around 70, so 4 years before the war. They first went to England. They tried to stay there for a bit, and they realized we're going to have to live here a really long time and be illegal, or we can go to Canada with a trade and become a citizen right away. So my dad has like 10 brothers, 4 sisters. One of them stayed in England, and the rest of them got a trade. So one became a welder, one became a mechanic, one became electrician. You know, they all had to get this trade. If you got the trade, you can get into Canada. They had a giant room. They asked 30 or 40 people the same question, like, what's the capital of Canada? Everyone screamed, Ottawa, and then they all got in. So they got the citizenship, they got jobs. So they said, okay, we feel safe. For us, the only thing that we feel is that Greek Cypriots don't like us, that we are not Cypriot enough for them. So I feel like this is always something that resonates with Turkish Cypriots, that we have to keep proving ourselves that we are Cypriot enough. So I feel like we've been living together for 500 years, but we still didn't prove to anyone that we are just as Cypriot as you guys are. Because I feel like the entire world thinks that Cyprus is Greek. You've been taught Cyprus is Greek. We've been taught Cyprus is mixed. So it really just depends. Like in school, they don't, you have a certain motto, never forget, right? But the North motto is forget. So everyone's life started after 74. They told us, you're never going back. It's the end. We will never see our houses again. It's the end. This is your new life. So everyone just adapted to that. So in one way, it's bad because they kept you guys suffering. And in another way, they didn't let us to grieve. So we didn't have time to process the information about what was happening, because you just left your home with nothing and you just moved to another place that's not your home. And now it's your home. So a lot of people understood that this was outside intervention, and they knew that there was nothing wrong. Even my father told me, one day we were best friends, and the next day we woke up, we were the enemy. He said, I don't even know how it happened.
Yeah. So many things, so many people, they say that, and what they teach us about in the schools, which suddenly through the years and after the internet and after all this and after traveling and after meeting people, you realize that it's a propaganda.
Yeah.
It's a propaganda that each country has its own voice of truth, in quotes, that it says, we are the right one, they are there, it's their fault, it's their fault. And he always, I always curse about the history books, that, it's good to know history, of course, I love history.
Me too.
But history, if you learn history for 15 years, that it was their fault, that they kill us, that they did this, that we won in 19 that, and then we just say that today we are like this because it's our fault. That's not good. That's wrong, So I can imagine, for us, Turkish it was like the bad dragon. So
it was like that for most of Europe also. The evil barbarians, everybody thought they're so bad. They eat people. They had all of these rumors. No, but even in Canada, when I said I was going to go to Turkey for a vacation, and plus you can't go to the north without going to Turkey. So we first have to stop in Istanbul or Ankara, and then you can come to Cyprus. So they would be like, isn't Turkey beside Iraq? Isn't there a war there? Isn't it dangerous? Aren't there bombs? Because this is like the Middle East for them. This is something completely off the map. Nobody knows what Cyprus is in Canada. They said, so the Cyprus Hills? I said, no, that's California.
They told me that also in the States, Cyprus Hills. And I was like,
yeah, so you mean Cyprus Hills, yeah?
I was like, yeah.
I'm trying to explain it okay, it's, Lebanon, Turkey, Greece. And they're looking at me like, no.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't know about where the Eastern Islands is, for example, there's Solomon Islands.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Or, if you ask a Canadian or a Chinese people, where is Sardinia or Malta, do they know? Because of the size, And I'll tell you this, Cyprus in general, as an island, the only thing that is always huge in the news, it was the Cypriot problem.
Yeah.
So we didn't do anything through the years,
Well, we had halloumi, hellim.
Well, yeah, sure, yeah.
You know what? The weird thing is, our village food has become gourmet around the world.
Yeah.
Like our dolma with the flour, the çiçek dolma. This is like gourmet stuff. Anything that we eat now, I'm finding the snails, the garavulli. It's gourmet. So we thought we're just these little villagers making these cute meals, but now everybody loves our food. So somehow we went, city went to demode. It's not cool anymore. Village is cool now. So now we're cool. We're back in.
Yeah, we're back in the game.
Yeah.
It's just we need to prove as Cypriots, more and more and more. I mean, for us Greek Cypriots, I say this all the time, that we need to, especially with Europe, as a European Union, as a European part of the Union, our name was on the news every day because of the crisis. So they only know us about crisis and about the Cypriot problem. So we must be the black sheep of Europe, you know.
For Ayia Napa too. Come on. It's like
that's another story.
It's like the Ibiza of Europe, you know?
It was, you know, it's changing.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that we're always constantly in the shadows of the motherlands.
Yeah.
So whatever our motherlands do affects us.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I feel that Cypriots have an identity crisis. You know, we love the history. You love history. I love history. I loved reading about the Ottoman Empire. I loved reading about Hellenism. I liked it. It's nice. It's beautiful. But the point is that we're not living that life. We didn't participate in those wars. We didn't make those accomplishments. So we should focus on our own accomplishments as Cypriots. But because over time they told us, like, you weren't the educated ones. They're the educated ones. We were just the villagers. So what could we say?
Yeah.
Even, you know, when radio first started here, 1953, we're so behind in everything.
And it was an English colony, so it was England was a part of it also, you know.
Well, and they started in the beginning of the 1900s, so why didn't we get it? Because our voice wasn't important for them.
Yeah.
You know?
And the people here were not educated, you know. They were like fishermen, or they had like sheep and stuff, or chickens and stuff, or they were in the, you know.
And imagine our dialect. The radio that we were listening to from Greece and from Istanbul
that would
sounded
be
so different. You wouldn't, those problems aren't our problems.
Yeah.
So you're listening to that going, oh my God, what's going on over there?
Even today, like sometimes when they discuss about like the problem in Greece, and I'm like, okay, it's a problem in Greece, like, but it's not something that is affecting here. Why do I have to put it in my mind as well? You know, I have so many problems here in this island, you know. So why do I have to know all the problems of everywhere?
I just feel like it's so sad that the problem started with the Greco-Turkish war, and then all of a sudden, they're friends again, but we're still enemies.
Yeah.
As somebody who's traveled a lot, I've been to Thessaloniki, I've been to Kavala, I've been to Santorini, Rhodos, Athens, a few other places in Greece. Everywhere, full of mainland Turks. They're friends, they're eating together, they're drinking ouzo and rakı together, they're singing and dancing together. They're friends. Why do they get to be friends and we can't be friends? I just want to know why.
Exactly.
You know, even before, imagine maybe 10 years ago in a taverna in the south, would you play a Turkish song? Would you ever hear that? But they were doing it.
Yeah.
Now we do. But they were doing it before. And it's normal. I
mean, music. Sometimes you hear like old Greek music and old Turkish music, and you don't. If they don't start the vocals, you wouldn't know the difference. You will know the difference. So yeah. It's a shitty politic thing, you know. I mean, even now, like Greece with Cyprus, Greece with Turkey is just who's ruling the Aegean, who's, and I'm like, what? So now Cyprus is in the news for the natural gas. Yeah. So we've left the Cyprus problem, and now it's the gas problem. Who gets the gas? Who gets the gas? Yeah. It's not me and you for sure.
Win? Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So, what do you think? How do you think things will end eventually?
I don't know how things will end, but I feel like the path that we need to take needs to be a little bit different. Let's say that Anastasiades and Tatar decide, okay, we want to unite the island. Now, they make a decision, but what about all the people on the bottom? We need to be friends first. We need to know each other first. Let's say that you're going to buy a house, okay? So this is the house that you want to buy. You don't know this neighbor. You don't know this neighbor. You don't know this neighbor. Would you feel safe to live there? Would you feel comfortable to move into this neighborhood? No. I feel like we have to really make
to know each other.
Effort to know each other. And I feel like that's what I tried to do with the page. Because a lot of people wrote me confessions. You know, in my DMs, I have many, many confessions. And like, I take it seriously because I know that a lot of people are afraid to have friends from the other community because of how people will take it or what they'll say about them. Because they worry. Because You know, even once I went to Limassol. There was a carnival, right?
Yeah.
So I went to the carnival, and I didn't even realize that all the hotels would be taken. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to leave Famagusta. I'll get to Limassol.
I'll find a way.
I'll find something. Yeah, like, come on, how hard it could be. All the hotels are full. Hadi. I found a hostel. I was like, okay, I hope the bed is not dirty. Hadi. Tamam. I go to the hostel. It was 4 girls in one room. 2 Greek Cypriot girls, me and a Russian girl. The Russian girl was sleeping. Anyways, we didn't count her. She was sleeping. So the 2 girls came up to me and said, where are you from? I said, the north. They said, what? Come, let's have a cigarette. I had quit smoking. I said, I don't smoke. No, come, let's have a cigarette. I feel like girls are more adventurous. Girls are more interested to find out the truth. Because I feel the same with me. Anything my parents ever told me, I always questioned it. Why? Why? How? Why? I want to know. Tell me. So they wanted to question me. One of the girls, her father actually is a priest, a papa, from Mamare. And the other girl, she's half Spanish. Her mom is Spanish, and her dad is half Greek Cypriot, and she works in the army. Imagine, the 3 most unusual people in Cyprus together. The Turkish Cypriot teacher, but they were all teachers also.
Oh,
yes.
So you had a common.
Yes. So the common thing was that we were Cypriot and that we were all teachers, okay? So we sat together, we talked, we said, we know this, but you're like this. They told us this, but you're like this. Okay, what are you doing later? I said nothing. The whole weekend, we went to restaurants together, we went to clubs together, we went to the carnival together. One of them wore my dresses, I wore one of their shoes. One of them wore my jacket, I wore one of their earrings, whatever. It's like we were sisters from the beginning. Like, it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life, you know? But when they were introducing me to their friends, the men, they were like, what? But she's a good one, they said. And I felt bad because it's like, we're all good ones. Like, I'm not the only good one.
Yeah.
You're not the only good one. We're all good ones. But because this is what we got brainwashed into thinking, that, you know, they're all terrible and horrible over there.
Yeah, but don't forget that they did 2 years in army. So 2 years in army, yes, 2 years in army, they got their brainwashed, you know. And of course, men are men, they're different. They think violent, very different from what violence means for women. And women are so peaceful. And maybe women will find the solution one day, you know, because
that's what I really hope.
I've been telling this so many. I think this is the 1,000th time I've been telling this in a podcast that I want
maybe
women.
Maybe someone will hear you this time.
Yeah, maybe the Indian here, you know, somebody.
Come on.
The god of India. So I just want more women into the politics, because you know, if it's 50 guys, you know, things go on the one side. When was the last time you saw 100 guys have peace? Never. Go back to history. And you know what? I prefer to have, I'm not saying that all women, because it's going to be the opposite side. You know, but I want things to be mixed.
Be equal.
Yeah, exactly. 25-25. You know, 25-25, it means that we have a circle of people who have different aspects and different point of views from different categories, you know?
I don't know how it is with you in the South, and I don't know how it is with Greek-speaking Cypriots, but for example, compared to Turkey, Turkish Cypriots have a lot of power for women. Women have a lot of say in the family. I've never seen like any of my uncles or anyone ruling the family. I always see the women doing it because they're the ones cooking. They're the ones cleaning. They're the ones taking care of the children. They're the ones worrying when something happens to the family. They're the ones keeping the family together. So I feel like the Turkish Cypriot men don't really want to upset them too much because they're the ones keeping the family together.
They're smart, you know, because a happy wife, happy life.
Yeah. So I feel it's really different. Like even my grandfather, he was born in 1918. He has 5 daughters and he has 1 son. He wanted his daughters to study. And people were telling him, why? Hayrettin, why? He said, they're my daughters. They will do something. They're going to do something. Yeah. And they did. They all did. And even for Cyprus, you know, one of my aunts is a dermatologist and she was one of the first female members of parliament in the north. So she did something and she made him proud. And he wanted that. Look, maybe he wouldn't have got that with a son. You know, because our only job in life is not to get married and have a baby. You know, our job is also something else, to learn, to grow. And that made us happy as well. I mean, they still want you to have a baby. Yesterday, with my mom's friends, when are you getting married? Come on. Did you find somebody? We'll find you somebody. Come on, get married.
Well, that's the package that moms comes, you know, in all ways, you know.
My mom and dad gave up.
Yeah.
But her friends. Everyone around's kind of like.
Yeah.
It's your goal. It's your Cypriot goal.
You know, give them the look, you know, like give them the, also you give them the look, they shut up.
But then once you get married, where's the baby? Then if you have a baby, where's the next baby? So it never ends.
It never ends. No,
it never ends. Don't get tricked by that. Like,
don't become one of them.
Once you get married, all of a sudden it's over. No, it never ends.
It never ends. But you know what? This is the thing. Don't become one of them. You know, it can be like, I've known a lot of people that they were like, had issues, but when they had babies, they keep asking me after. They're like, so
why do you have to drag me into this?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're having trouble, why do you want to drag me into this? Doesn't make sense.
I haven't slept last night. The baby was crying the whole night. When are you having a baby?
Like, that is like the worst thing. They always do this.
Yeah, they want to drag you in, you know?
I'm a teacher, you know? So my students generally are 3 years old till 7.
Yeah, so you see a lot.
I love kids. I really do love kids. I play with them all day long.
Yeah.
I teach them how to read, we speak, we play, we dance. But then at 3, I say, bye, and they go to their moms. I like that. So you get that feeling out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I have a friend from Argentina, she's like that. She's always with kids and stuff. She used to do like babysitting, but she doesn't want more than that.
Well, it's not that I don't want more than that, but I feel like, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like even in Turkey and Turkish Cypriots in general, it's like the man wakes up one day and he says, I think I'm ready for marriage. So he goes, what are the possibilities? Okay, this is not how it should be. I shouldn't just wake up one morning and think like, okay, I'm ready for marriage. I should meet somebody. I should get along with somebody. I should have common goals with somebody. It's not like it used to be before.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I have a daughter, you have a son, let's go. No. Who wants that?
Like dogs.
Who wants that?
It used to be like that, you know.
It used to be, but we saw that it doesn't work. Why do we keep doing the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, but it doesn't work. Is it today like that? In the north part? Because in the south part, it's not.
Now it's changing, but still, people are always pushing. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? It doesn't end. Before, they used to introduce. But then they got in trouble because, like, you introduced me, it's your fault. So nobody wants to get the blame.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone here who's forced to get married with a person who doesn't even know, you know, or even know. I mean, I've heard stories.
All of our families were like this.
Yeah, years ago. I mean,
even my father.
Not even my parents.
Even my father.
Yeah.
He was 33, and they said, okay, it's time to get married. So he got on a plane from Canada and came to see the available bachelorettes. So,
wow.
I mean, I'm sure he wasn't into it, but that's what his mother wanted.
You know, in the beginning of the 20th century, my grandfather used to tell me that they used to like kind of like lock them somewhere, and they say, okay, it's your time right now, so bring your best man, bring a priest. That's the girl I told you about. I told you last night. What? I was sleeping. Yeah, right. Come over here. Close your eyes. It's not gonna hurt. Yeah, it's not gonna hurt today.
But like even my grandmother, she was much younger than my grandfather. Like usually there's about a 10-year gap. Yeah. She was much younger. He saw her. He knew that was the girl right away in the village. He knew, even though she didn't know.
Wow.
She had a story like he was a cobbler. He was making shoes at first when she met him. And he made her a shoe that she didn't like. She threw the shoe at his head when she was much younger, before marriage. She said, I ended up marrying the guy that I threw the shoe at. See?
How strong.
So, it's so funny. I said, that was your destiny when you threw the shoe at him. That was it.
You're not carrying something like a shoes or anything.
No,
like
I don't have any weapons today. No.
Hey, what do you think is the best solution for both sides?
I think we have a lot of work to do. I think definitely we need to build up a Cypriot identity. I think that we're missing this. We're so worried about calling ourselves Greek or calling ourselves Turkish or talking about the differences that we have. Instead, we should be talking about the similarities that we have and what we can do together. I feel like as a Turkish-speaking Cypriot, we've been shunned out of the Republic. So we watch the Republic flourish and get into the EU and do nice things and, you know, go to Eurovision. And we kind of watch it from a distance because we are neither part of Turkey, but we're neither part of Cyprus either. We're kind of like
through in the middle,
an audience.
Yeah,
we're on the sidelines. So for us, the thing is, our ideal lifestyle would be to live together peacefully and to work together. But the thing is, many worry that we're not going to be equal because of this minority status. You know, before they used to say, it's only 18% or it's 20% and you guys are a minority and that's why. So right now, even though the North is not really strong, nobody looks at me like I'm a minority or that I'm weird or that I'm not Cypriot enough. I feel safe. I do what I need to do. I go where I need to go. Nobody bothers me. I just feel like we need to make a safe place for all of us. So when we join together, that you know wherever you go, whatever you do, there's going to be a consequence for bad actions. And I feel like here now, there's not really much consequences for certain groups, if you know what I mean, certain groups.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm even allowed to say those group names here.
Oh, you can, of course.
Like, for us, Elam is scary. It's a scary group.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, Greek-speaking Cypriots that are left or communist, that don't believe in the current regime, they're afraid to talk because they'll find them. They find you on the internet. They'll find your house. They'll come to you because there's bullying tactics going on. And I feel like we're also bullied in the North too. We can't say what we want. You know, there was a poster. Somebody put up Love Erdogan poster and 3 girls in the middle of the night went and wrote like, we don't love Erdogan. They were looking for them. Who did it?
Oh, shit.
But we said, when Akıncı's posters got graffiti and defaced, why didn't we look for those people? So it's one-sided.
I mean, each country has the wild things, like the 20% we said before we started. And in Turkey, in the north part, you guys have the wolves. What is it?
You know, everyone keeps telling me about these. That's what's
scaring us.
Everyone keeps telling me about these grey wolves.
Is because of 1996, the 2 guys from here.
Yes.
That thing put everything. It's like something like a needle that you never forget that name.
So, this topic, many people from the South told me about this, and every time I ask someone in the North, so do you know anybody that's part of the Grey Wolves? They said, what's that? Like, I feel like there's a communication error going on here.
It the time.
I don't know, because the thing is, this has nothing to do with Turkish Cypriots. Like, this is not a group that we're part of. It's not like, you know, TMT time.
Yeah.
It's very, because everyone I ask is like, what?
They don't know.
And I keep asking people. I was making a post the other day about bullying in Cyprus. So I was trying to put like each thing on each side, like Greek nationalism, Turkish nationalism. I put Elam on this side. And then I asked so many Turkish Cypriots that were part of these groups for uniting Cyprus, what is the equivalent of Elam on our side? We don't have such a thing on our side. We have a lot of settlers, but they're not like Elam. Of course, they don't want us to join if they have to leave. But I know a lot of them, you know, it's weird. I don't know how to explain this in a way that you may understand, but there are a lot of people that were born in Cyprus, raised in Cyprus, speak like me, look like me, but they're not Cypriot. So I asked them, where are you from? And they say, Turkey. So you guys think, for example, the Turks living here, the settlers living here, are like proud to be from Turkey, but it's not like that.
It's not like that, huh?
It's like they wish that they were Cypriot. They wish that they would be considered as a real Cypriot.
Oh, so it's the opposite kind of.
Yeah, so it's really sad. For example, I know some girls in the north, when they date a Cypriot guy, that guy doesn't take them seriously because they come from a family that's different than us. Because we have a lot of intermarriages, as you guys do too.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we've had problems. So they always tell us, please, just marry a Cypriot. Don't marry someone from the mainland, please. Because when the problem occurs, what are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
We have a lot of stories.
A lot of people, they are afraid that once they open, I mean, let's say that we decide today that we open the borders, no borders actually, no borders. They're afraid that, you know, some damn stupid minority people of like 2%, 3%, 5%, you name the percent, they will just start to do stupid things again, like they did in 1963, 1960. And
I'm afraid of that too.
I'm afraid of that. And you know what? Because we cannot control stupid people.
I know.
You can see now from the virus what's happening. So what do you do from that? But you know what? From the other side, when I think about it, I cannot say that I want to stay in this position today, me and my kids, and die
like this,
just because of a 10 of 15. I'm the one who have to fight with my people first.
Where is your family from originally?
From here, from Parliament. Both
Always?
Yeah.
All the time?
Yeah.
Before even?
My grandfather, he's coming from a village outside of Famagusta. It's called Tripimeni. I have never been there. I crossed from there, but it's a very, very old and very small village that is not... it's after, I think it's after Salamina.
Okay.
So, but I think it's not, nobody's living there, and it's not a village today.
Okay, so for example, I find this: many displaced people are more interested in uniting than people that were not displaced. So for you, is it different? Like, you have always been from Paralimni, even before the war, after the war.
Yeah.
So for you, if you've never known the North and you never came from the North, what does it matter to you if the North and the South come together? What will it change your life?
Nothing.
So that's what we feel like. A lot of people that don't want unity, it's because they had nothing to do with the other side. And a lot of people that do want it, because you would think the ones that are displaced, the ones that lost everything, would never want to be united. But they're the ones that want, because this is not their home.
This is not their home, yeah. And you know what? Once you put everything on the scales, and you say, okay, whatever happens. If it's been 50 years, let's say that you were like 20 years or 15 years old when the war happened, okay? Do you want to continue having this at the age of 70, 75?
You know, I put a picture up on one of my posts of a coffee shop in Nicosia with the sandbags, and like people are just sitting there drinking coffee. Like, why is this normal for us to sit behind these sandbags and like sit behind men with rifles and guns and just drink coffee like it's a normal thing?
It's not a normal.
Like, we're so desensitized to this situation that it's just normal.
We're so used to this, you know?
Like, it's just so normal. It shouldn't be normal. We shouldn't live like this. This is the thing, like, you know, you can have your town. I feel like some people are against federation also because they think federation is the same thing as partition. But I don't think it is. For example, if we're one, okay, when Greek-speaking Cypriots make a decision that affects Turkish-speaking Cypriots, then they're going to get mad and say, oh, they treated us differently. Or if we made a decision that affects you more, then you're going to be angry, like, how dare they make a decision about me? So if there's a federation where, like in Canada, the French have their own rules or the English have their own rules.
Not only in Canada, in the whole world.
Yeah, like, there's so many countries that are doing it. Why can't we?
They built the United States of America.
Yeah.
That's how they built it. They mix cultures. I mean, if you see England today, you see England today, how is it? It used to be like an Anglo-Saxon country, and today they have a mayor from India, and they have this, you know.
It depends on where you are in England even. Once I was stuck in Bethnal Green, I was lost in this area. I thought I was in India.
Yeah.
In every area, they have like another ethnic group, and they're all living together.
They have this, how do you call it in England? Princeton? No. They have this place, Jackson. Anyhow, that is like full of African people. And it's, you know, I mean, I don't know.
Where are the
France.
Cypriots? Let me ask you a question. Where are most of the Cypriots in the UK? Or in London, let's say.
It's the,
which
I forgot the
part?
place. But
Come on.
You tell me the name.
Enfield.
Enfield, yeah.
So, now, let me tell you something that makes me crazy about this. Okay, I have a lot of fans from the UK, okay? And a lot of them are very, very pro-unity, pro-solution, and they're very into it. But some of them are hypocrites. And it's very sad because they have Greek Cypriot friends or Turkish Cypriot friends. They date them, they hang out with them, they go to their birthday parties, and then they fight for partition. So how come you can be friends but we can't? That's not fair.
Exactly.
And even these people, I've talked to them, are you going to move back to Cyprus? No. So if you're not going to move back to Cyprus, stop putting words in Cypriots' mouths because we want to be friends.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Exactly.
Like, it's absolutely
You're friends
unfair.
over there,
Huh?
but you're not friends here.
Exactly. So you guys get to hang out over there, but then we can't here? Why?
Yeah.
And we're shamed. It's so sad.
It should be the opposite.
Exactly. You know, I didn't even know how my grandma was going to react when Chris came to get me one day. I said to her, okay, my friend is coming. She said, who? I said, Christos. Yani Rum? He's Rum because we call you Rum. I said, yes, he's Rum.
What's a room?
Rum, we say, for example, we know that you're not Yunan. Yunan means you're from Greece.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Room is
like an Anatolian Greek is a Rum. Because also people that live in Istanbul, like the Greeks that lived in Anatolia and never lived in Greece, but lived in Turkey or in Egypt, they're called Rum. So we say Rum. She said, Yani Rum? So he's Rum? I said, yes. Quickly, she put her bandofla on. She flew towards the Ganjeli. She wanted to see who is this guy. All of a sudden, 50 years, she never spoke Greek to anyone. She's been here since 74. She started speaking.
No.
And then he looks at me. He's like, your grandma speaks Greek. I was like, uh-huh. And then he's learning Turkish. So he said, Napang, ising? She looked at me like, Christos knows Turkish. I said, yeah, he's learning. She was like, mashallah. And he was like, mashallah. Me and my mom were like, oh my God. Because first of all, she never gets up. The last time she got up off that couch was to go vote. And then she never got up off the couch again. She had a heart attack last year. So, you know, we've been kind of very careful with her. But like, she was so interested. I said, do you want to meet him? Even before I said, do you want to meet him? She was already ready
She
at
had
the
that
gate.
thing to meet him, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, she used to be friends with them. They lived in the same villages. They spoke all the time. And like, now she just never got to speak this language again.
You know what? It's so sad. I mean, I have my parents, they have these friends that they go, they used to, before COVID, I don't know if they go now, they used to go to this house somewhere in the north, and they will, he was playing bouzouki, they were playing bouzouki, the guy over there, I don't know the person or anyone, or where was it, and it was in a village, and they used to sing one Greek song, one Turkish song. And the guy, the first time in 2003, when this happened, he started crying because the last time he did this, it was with his father. His father had friends from the Greek part. I mean, Greek Cypriots, and they used to do that. So that was the
tradition.
That was the connection. You know, music and food and traditional and mixed cultures was the, you know, what was holding the two cultures. It's amazing. And you know, I'll give you a puzzle, like a riddle. You've been to many countries. Tell me a country that it was only, like, for example, you see Istanbul, okay? You see how beautiful it is with mixed cultures. Tell me a country that is not mixed. I mean, all the countries, all the countries that are mixed, they have like something beautiful. Something beautiful, you know?
I mean, I don't even know if there's any country like that that's not mixed at all.
Exactly.
You know, one country that I was really surprised about was Brazil. So I was working in Canada in a school that had lots of visiting students, and I had a lot of Brazilian students, and they told me, when you get a chance, you're going to come to Brazil. I said, okay, we'll see. Because in Canada, tickets are very expensive. But normally when I worked abroad, like I worked in Istanbul and I worked in Dubai, and so they would buy me a ticket once a year to wherever I want.
Okay.
And usually Canada's the most expensive anyway. So wherever I want to go, they'll buy me a ticket. I said, can you buy me a ticket to Brazil? They said, sure. They bought me the ticket to Brazil. I went. I saw Chinese-looking people, Arabic-looking people, Cypriot-looking people, all speaking one language, interracial dating, black and white. Everybody was Brazilian.
Yeah.
Why can't we just be Cypriot?
Exactly.
Even though some of us are light, some of us are dark, some of us are tall.
And how was Brazil mixed?
Amazing.
Portuguese,
Yeah.
African, Swedish.
Yeah.
That's why they...
Argentinian.
Yeah. That's why they have these beautiful... It's a beautiful country, you know, beautiful people. Yeah, you see the women sometimes, total dark hair, the dark skin, amazing body, blue eyes.
Yeah.
God
So
something
mixed.
did something
So
good over
mixed.
there, you know.
And even their accent, their Portuguese they speak, is different. It's like how the Cypriot accent is different than mainland.
Yeah.
So they speak like a cooler...
It's much prettier
Instead
than
of bon dia, bon dia.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, cool and relaxed.
They
They're very Cypriot.
they don't call me Zanetos, they call me Zanetao.
Yes. Zanetao.
You know, it means like something big.
Yeah,
Bigger than, you know, Zanetao. You know?
You know, I had some Brazilian friends, okay? They told me, I'm going to take you to eat something very traditional Brazilian. I said, Hade, what is it? They showed me kibe, cupes.
Yeah.
They showed me like, we have the bulgur köfte, you know, the one with the bulgur on the outside, the meat on the inside. I said, that's not Brazilian. That's Lebanese. He said, okay, I have another one. Hummus. I was like, that's not Brazilian. You know, there's so many Lebanese living there from the time of the Civil War that they didn't even realize that that wasn't Brazilian.
Mm-hmm.
They have been there for so long that the Brazilians just assumed
Just
that it was their
adopted.
food.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's funny. Like, none of them are saying like, no, this is mine, this is yours. All of them look different, act different, but speak the same language. And they're one. I was looking at them like, feeling so sad, like, why can't we do this?
Exactly. We will, you know.
Inshallah.
You know what? We will, because we have people like you.
I feel that the people are waking up now.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, some people are saying, well, we should teach the old. The old, no. The old, no. We don't need to teach the old. You know, when they go and they take those interviews and they say, there was one interview, I posted it. They asked a guy, he was playing tabla, okay? He was like playing and they said, so are you a Greek Cypriot or are you a Turk Cypriot? He just looked at them. Cypriot. Why are you asking me Greek or Turkish? And another guy said, hey, the more we say Greek or Turkish, the more we're supporting their countries. Who's going to support us? He's right. But then when they asked the young people, they were like,
Yeah.
because they're afraid.
We need to teach the young people. You know?
We need the confidence.
You can't teach someone at the age of 75 something new.
But the thing is, they know.
I know.
They know the
truth. They know the tradition.
Truth.
What we need is to educate
The
young
youth.
generation, the young kids. We need to teach them that these books that you're reading, it's either blue or red. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It's done. It's done. Finish.
Yeah.
You
because
know,
those people that started this are gone. Those people that did this are gone. So
know.
why do you have to pay the price for that?
And
why
you
do
know
I
what?
have to pay the price for that?
The people that they started this, we've seen the end of it, and it's not good. Why do you keep tracking? Do you think
and you
that
keep repeating the same thing over and over again?
Exactly. And you know what? It's time, what we said at the beginning, we're done with the politics. Mm-hmm. We're done. You know what? We're done. We live in a very, very weird ages. We don't know what's going to happen. We've seen enough. And what we want after 50 years of politicians trying to solve, just to solve. Imagine, like, you imagine that this island, this small island will be like, let's say, for example, the size of Russia. What will happen?
Then what?
Then what? You know, do you imagine if Siberia will divide it with Russia? Do you imagine if we live in China?
Yeah.
We live in Cyprus. It's in a very small island. It's cut like a pizza slice, you know, like the
Down
British,
the
they have their part, and it's a north part. I don't even like calling it north or south, you know.
Well, this is another thing. What do we call it? So when we say KKTC, Kuzey Kıbrıs, Türk Cumhuriyeti, nobody knows what KKTC is. Then you say TRNC, people say that doesn't exist. So I'm trying to find the most political or like politically correct term, but there is not
I'm
one.
not saying I'm not saying it's bad.
At least when we say north and south, it's a geographic location.
Yes. No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's
No,
just
I know
one day.
It's sad because some people say, no, there's no north, there's no south, it's just one Cyprus. But it's not reality.
It's not reality. No. We want to live in reality just to see our problems, put the problems down, and find solutions. Find solutions about everything. Guys, we need to fix the churches that we broke. We need to fix the jami that we broke. First of all, we need to show...
Out of respect.
Let me tell you something. You come to my house. I'll give you a gift. I come to your house. You give me a gift. I prepare the best food that you like. And you do the same thing. And that's how we create bonds. You came today, we will speak about this after. You brought me something. That was so sweet of you, I wanted you
to have something from our town.
Yeah. You know what? And a shame of me, because I didn't bring anything.
No. You know why? I said, yesterday, when Maria's yaya came, she brought a bag with all these kind of like Cypriot handicrafts and lefkara lace and stuff. And I didn't bring one. And I said, oh my God. Normally I would have. My mom's like, what did you do? Why didn't you tell me? I said, oh my God. I was so embarrassed because normally we would do that. But I didn't want to embarrass someone if they don't have this tradition because see, we don't know each other.
Exactly.
We don't know.
Hey, that's the excited part actually. Yeah. If we take, sometimes we say half glass of full, half of empty. I mean, if we take this from the positive side, it's a good time now to meet each other, Yeah. We're going to meet each other right now. We're meeting our friends.
And already within, I just got back to the island on the 2nd, okay? Already I've met the grandparents of my new friends. And they've met my parents and grandparents. Yeah. This is not just me and you meeting one day, having a coffee somewhere. Now her grandmother wants me to come see her in Ayanapa. You have a room, she said. Yeah. You can come to our house. So this is building those connections that we need to be building.
Hey, you go to a cafeteria. There's 100 people over there sitting. 50 of them are Turkish Cypriots. 50 of them are Greek Cypriot. Do you find? Do you see the differences?
No. Yesterday, I showed my grandma. I said, "Look, we met Maria and her yaya," and I showed her the picture, and she said, "You just don't even know which one is which." Yeah. Because you all look the same.
Of course, we're under the same roof, under the same sun.
We breathe the same air.
We drink the same water. We don't have any differences. The only difference we have might be religion, if you are Christian, if you're any other whatever. And I don't see any other difference. Language, who cares?
We believe that you guys are more religious than us. So that's always something that they said. They look like us, they act like us, but they're a different religion. And so because of that religion, you have different activities that you do. For example, we're Muslims, so we can't eat pork. And some Turkish Cypriots do, but generally it's the one thing that we just don't do. Yeah. So normally in the South, the only thing that people know is if we order food and we say, no pork, okay? They're like this. This is a Turkish Cypriot, okay? So I went with my cousin last year. We went to Protoras and he wanted to order a gyro. So he looks like a Greek Cypriot. He looks Cypriot. So the guy said to him, Filemo, come here. And he's like, I don't know Greek. He said, but you're Cypriot? He said, yes. But why you don't know Greek? He's like, because I'm from the north. He's like, okay. Then he goes, okay, you're from the north. You look like us. But why are you eating pork, re? He said, because I like it. And I said, because he's crazy. It's not usual that we would eat pork. We drink. We go out. We wear open clothing. We're wild. We're crazy. We're open-minded. But the pork is the taboo. Yeah. It's the one taboo that it's not good for you anyway. It's fattening anyway. Yeah. So I mean it's not we're missing something.
I don't eat.
Yeah.
It's been more than 20 years that I haven't touched it,
The smell for me is weird. And I feel when you get
told. I don't eat lamb also. I like lamb. You like lamb? That smells also.
Only
you don't have
once
an
it
issue
smelled
with that.
weird.
You don't have an issue with that smell, but you have an issue with the, you know.
I think it's because I'm not used to that smell. Do you know what I mean? Like when it comes to you, you're like, what's that smell?
I like beef.
Not
I
recognized.
like beef.
Yeah, I like beef
steak,
too. I like beef too. But what's your blood type?
AB plus.
So everybody, based on their blood type, has a certain like diet that they should follow. Yes.
No.
I believe this.
Oh.
I really believe this because everything, like when you look it up, there's one website called www.drlam.com. He's a Chinese guy and he has like this list. What you should eat, what you should avoid, and what are neutral. For example, I'm B plus, doesn't matter plus or negative, but for me, everything on that list that it says to avoid makes me sick. So I was like, okay, I should eat lamb. I shouldn't eat any of the other things. I should avoid chicken at all costs, especially chicken breast.
Are you?
Because apparently the stomach acid that I have can't digest that.
See, we found a difference today between you and me. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your blood type.
So listen what you're going to do. Whatever, every time you find chicken breast, you bring it to me and I'll give you the lump.
Okay. Sounds good.
Tamam?
Sounds good. Tamam. Ola kala.
Ola kala. All right. Do you see any differences when you come here? Like, do you feel like you're changing a country sometimes or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like, for example, in the north, we have to be very careful because everybody knows us, right? So I feel like it's the same for you. So if I wear a certain dress that's maybe a little bit open, people will talk about me. If I talk with some people, people might talk about me and say like, oh, I saw her at this place or that place and she talked to so-and-so and whatever. So the gossip chain is very good for us. We have like a very strong gossip chain. So if something happens in Famagusta, Mausa, someone can find out about it in Morphu.
You're such a secret.
Yeah. So it's not about this. It's just real. It's reality. So
and we live for that.
yeah. So it's funny when it happens to someone else, but not funny when it happens to me.
Yeah.
You know? So one time I was at a club, someone came to talk to me, and I didn't even know. Like I was walking out of the toilet, someone came to talk to me 5 minutes later. This was in Kyrenia. Someone from Famagusta called me. So you're talking to so-and-so. I said, hey, what did I do? I was just coming out of the toilet. It's not my fault who talks to me. I didn't talk to someone. So even that, you know, like they'll catch you. So you have to be careful. So when I come to the South, I feel like nobody knows me. I'm a small fish. Oh yeah, I can talk to whoever I want. It's cool. So it's different.
It's different.
It's very
but
different.
do you see the differences? I mean, in
Yeah, I see the differences. Your roads are cleaner. Your sidewalks are better. You have a transit system we don't have. You know, the cars are the same. Mercedes and BMW. Same. Okay. So the guys look the same. Beard, you know, haircut,
do you find
whatever.
the guys over there like fitted or here much heavier above or whatever, you know?
I can compare this, for example, in Turkey, because I lived there for 10 years also. In Turkey, it's like a new thing to go to the gym and be fit and stuff. And here, I feel like it's always been.
It's always been.
Yeah, it's always been like this because we're beach people. We have hot weather. People are always going to see our body types and stuff in whatever we wear. And I feel like Cypriots in general, I don't know if it's the same for you, but beauty is very important.
Yeah, especially in the face. So.
Yes. So everybody, for example, like say if you brought someone around and they weren't good looking, everyone would be like, you know,
next time.
Why? You know, what happened to you?
Why did you do this to
Your
yourself?
eyes don't see. What happened to you? You didn't see him? What's wrong with you?
He has a good heart.
Yeah, like, or if a girl's not beautiful, they're like, maybe she's smart.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Maybe she can cook well.
She must have something. But they really care about it. Like, without even seeing or weighing me, my grandma will be like, you gain weight. You gain weight. You lost weight. Like, we have a visual scale system. Shit. Everyone can tell, like, if you gained or you lost, or if your hair's looking good.
Which is always wrong,
not.
you know, because losing weight for them, it's different from your way of you want to lose weight, you know?
They don't want you to lose too much.
No.
But they want you to look good.
They don't like you to be fit, you know? I mean, I've crossed these roads. Trust me, I've crossed these roads many times.
Yeah, but when you tell them, I'm not going to eat your food, I'm not going to eat your fırın makarna, your macaronia to furno.
Furno, yeah.
If you don't eat that, they're going to be upset.
No, they hate you.
They'll hate you.
Yeah, they hate you.
It's a personal, like, you know, insult to them if you don't eat their
You know
food.
how many times I've come to excuses and lies? Like, you know, I'm sick. I threw up.
You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot. You have to eat it.
You have to eat it.
I remember even a few times my mom would say, this tastes different. I'm looking at her like, don't ever say that about her food. Because you can't say that to a grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll get upset.
We have this thing that is called, I see food, I eat food. Like whatever is in the table, whatever is in the plate, it has to be finished. Let's say, for example, they put you this plate. They say, don't sit over there. I'll put you some food. And they don't put food. They put 3 plates in one. They bring it to you, and if you leave, like, let's say it's 2 kilos of food, and you leave this out, and they're like, you didn't like this. Like, you know what? I didn't like, I'm just going to die. I'm dying from food.
This is a trick. This is a trick. Because I remember when I was younger, my grandpa would go to the yard and pull off a pomegranate. We call it nar. I don't know what you call it. Pomegranate. The red one. Yeah. We say nar. Rodi. So he would I said, I don't want to eat it. He said, why? I said, because when I peel it, then my fingers get yellow. I don't want to have ugly fingers.
I'll do it for you.
Tamam. He's going to do it. He gets the cypress tray, the bamboo tray, okay? You know, the typical cypress tray. He opens them all up for me. He prepares them. Now, I'm thinking, because, you know, I was the visitor always, the Canadian child coming here. I didn't know the trick. My cousin said, do not eat all of it. You have to leave a little bit, not half, like a quarter. Why? Leave a quarter. Because if you eat all of it, he'll get another one. And I said, come on. No. I ate all of it. I said, okay, Grandpa, I finished. Okay. He went to get another one. Shit. Yeah. So I didn't know the system. There's a system to this. You have to learn the system. You can't just eat everything on the plate, because then that means you might want more.
Oh, God damn it. Where were you when I was a kid?
I had to learn the hard way.
I
had to learn the hard way, these things. Definitely.
It made me fat when I was a kid, you know? All those sugary, sticky, damn food.
The majuns and the walnut jams and all that stuff.
Go to your grandma, you leave your grandma, you're like 3 kilos. You want to sleep from sugar, you know? Your insulin is on the sky roof.
The thing that's weird is, like, each family had, like, a different type of foods and drinks that they would eat. My dad's family's from Polomedia, and whenever we'd visit their relatives, they were also in Famagusta, they would give us rose water as a drink. Yeah. We're like, Mom, don't they have Coca-Cola? Why do we have to drink this rose water? It doesn't make sense. Because for us, it tastes like cleaner. You know, like...
I think that thing is good if you put milk on it.
Maybe, but like for a child, we were like, okay. Then we go to the panayiri. My mom's like, let's get dondurma, ice cream. Okay. We get the pink one, thinking it's strawberry.
No,
it's rose. It's rose again. We're like, what? Who did this? Who thought about this?
Actually, it's
I like it.
It's the only ice cream that is not made from milk, you know, so it's not...
Like a sorbet type.
Yeah, it's like a sorbet.
But can you imagine anybody else in the world eating roses? Like, why? Like, how did we come up with this stuff?
I don't know.
It's interesting. It's very interesting.
You know, I mean, I'm sure you try mahalebi.
Yeah.
So that's what they put in the mahalebi, you know.
Sometimes my mom uses orange blossom, sometimes rose. So it depends.
Oh, she breaks it, it's on a mood.
Her mood,
Hey, what do you think about the Greek Cypriot government, the today? Do you have any...
Well, I feel like a lot of Greek-speaking Cypriots are also upset about it. Because I feel like it's not really looking out for the average Cypriot. I feel like the people in power right now are rich and getting richer. And I feel like the church has a lot to do with the government, which is also very dangerous in general. So this is affecting the voters. Because, for example, if you're an Orthodox Christian and the church has a stronghold on the state, you feel like you're not a good Christian if you don't vote. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like two things are coming together that are making it more difficult. Because I feel like of course, if the church is involved in this, they're not going to want to be involved with the Muslims because we're different. But in actuality, during the Ottoman times, they got together. When the Venetians were here, the Venetians didn't give any power to the Orthodox Church. But when the Ottomans came, they did.
Yes,
so they got their first
true.
power.
So as in Greece.
Yeah, they got their first power when the Ottomans came.
You know what? I agree with everything you say. I'm just, I disagree with the people that the thing of voting is not a good Christian or bad Christian. It's just something they just learn this way.
Well, I'm saying that it's not a good thing to think like that, but I feel that's how they feel.
Yeah.
Like even when Makarios was in power, how can I not vote for him? He's the Archbishop.
That was a different age.
You know what I mean? Like at that time even. So now, people that are voting for him, who is voting for him? Maybe people from Limassol are voting for him because he comes from their town. You know, like everyone has a reason. Maybe lawyers are voting for him because they're lawyers and it's their same occupation. Maybe people are voting because they think that if they don't vote for him, they're going to lose money.
Yeah, there's a big distance between the people and the government. And if you don't fix that distance, it means that someone is living in another world. We live in another world and they live in another world.
I feel it's very dangerous for Turkish-speaking Cypriots or Greek-speaking Cypriots to judge the other people based on their government, because the government has nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
I'm not the government. I'm not working in the government. I don't feel the same way that they do, and you don't feel the same way that they do. But unfortunately, we vote these people in.
Exactly. They didn't wake up one day and they're like, boom, hello.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Turkish Cypriot government?
So right now it's very split, because I feel like the position that Turkish Cypriots are in is this. For example, you know, when in 1963, when Makarios amended the 12 points, you know, the 12 points?
Of course.
So when he amended the constitution and the 12 points were made, Turkish Cypriots were very upset, and basically most of our rights were taken away. Even though it was agreed upon in Geneva, when those rights were taken away, they stepped out of parliament. So from 1963, Turkey's been giving Turkish Cypriots money, financially helping them. So even before the war, they've been financially aiding Turkish Cypriots. So we're stuck in this. If I don't want Turkey, then I'm a traitor. I don't appreciate what they did. They always remind us that if they didn't come to save us, that we were all going to die. And I do believe it. I'm not saying that I don't believe that that was going to happen, because when my grandpa at the time was working in the courts. So he got word of something 3 days before. He said, they're fighting against each other, but I hope that this fight doesn't end up hurting us too. So he got the news that the pro-Cypriots and the pro-Greeks were fighting against each other. He found out the news, but the fear was, when will this turn to us? So they knew. Like, it's almost like they had the feeling, and my grandpa wanted my mom and my grandmother to go to the north, because they had already been moved. A lot of people had already been moved even before 74, like in the forced migrations in the late 60s. So people were thinking the north was like the safe haven anyways. That line was made in the Aitchison plan. They already had that line. They already had this idea much before 74. This wasn't something that just happened out of nowhere. You know, definitely this is something that they already planned. But for us, if we say we want to unite, we're traitors. If we say we don't want Turkey to treat us like it's Turkey, we're traitors. Because they do help us. Financially, they do help us. Nobody else does.
Till today?
Yes, till today. Nobody else does.
In what? In where?
In everything. Streets, water, food. I think this is the rumor, that they give some retirement money to some people that worked in the government and stuff. And I feel like with campaigns, they helped Ersin Tatar with his campaign. And there's many things that we don't know about as the general public. So me, I don't get money from Turkey, but the country gets money from Turkey.
Is there a way to find a solution so you guys can have your independence from Turkey?
Well, at this point, if we don't have an agreement between us, You know, I did a podcast with the bi-communal group with Dimitri, Chris, and they were talking about this. Why don't you guys just tell Turkey to go? Hadi. We tell Turkey to go. We have no financial backing at the moment because we've been restricted for 50 years. We can't buy things. We can't sell things. We don't have a system on our own because it's like you cut off someone's...
Because you're not independent.
Yeah, you cut someone's 2 arms off and then you say, why are they lazy? Well, if I can't sell and I can't buy, what can I do? Even if you make halloumi, if you make hellim, you can't sell it to anyone but Turkey. But Turkish people don't care about hellim. What are they going to buy from you? You want to sell your oranges, but Mersin already has oranges. You want to sell your lemons, but Antalya already has lemons. Who are you going to sell to? What are you going to sell? What are you going to do? We don't have brand names. We don't have McDonald's. We don't, you know, Burger City we had instead of Burger King. Now they made it Burger King. And I'm just waiting for something to happen that they close it down to. Because every time we get something, it gets taken away.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. We don't have Nando's, we had Pandos. It's like actually unbelievable.
It reminds me of China, who they copy everything. They copy YouTube and they make Yuku. Yeah, something like that.
It's the same. Like everything is the fake of something else. Like we don't have KFC, we have Chicken Planet. We don't have Southern Fried Chicken, we have Cyprus Fried Chicken, we call it. Like we have the fake of everything because we're not allowed to have something. We're not allowed to. We've never been allowed to.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have embargoes. We've never been allowed to have the same thing. For example, when a Turkish Cypriot, a young Turkish-speaking Cypriot, crosses to the north, to the south, do you know what they want to eat? McDonald's. Because we don't have it.
Shit.
And it's garbage food.
It is.
It's garbage food. We have şeftaliya, we have shish kebab, we have pide, we have everything. We have makarna, we have whatever you want. They want McDonald's.
No. Listen. You know what they say about drugs? You legalize drugs and nobody cares, you know?
Nobody will want
Nobody will want it. You know, it's this exact... If I take this thing from you, if I take this from you, you might want it more than before.
Because we don't have it.
Because you don't have it. Yeah. Because it's illegal or it's a barco or it's something, you know?
Yeah, because of the embargoes, we're not allowed to have brand names. So, for example, last month, I think there was a company in Germany. They were going to come make like a techno party. They were going to make a party in the north. People found out about it. They made them cancel. They told them, how dare you make a party in the occupied north? How dare you? So there's a problem here. Yes, we're occupied. Okay. But we're still Cypriots. But we don't get anything. Like, we've been shunned from everything. Beyonce tried to come? No. J-Lo tried to come? No. How many other concerts? Many concerts they tried to organize. They said yes. They made the plan. And then somehow the lobby said, how dare you? Nothing can go to the north. And then people got scared to come here. Either with this idea of dragons and demons.
Yeah.
Or going against EU. But so Turkey, for example, if the enemy here is Turkey, why isn't Turkey punished in anything? Turkey makes all the money out of this. We have to fly through Turkey. All the concerts go to Turkey. All the money goes to Turkey. But we are the occupied people. So it doesn't make any sense. For example, when the fires were happening, okay? So Ersin Tatar offered his help. And, you know, I even have a cousin that's in the fire brigade. So he's a fireman. The rumor was that we were willing to send 50 trucks plus the new helicopter that we got. But he didn't want it. And then people were writing on my page, well, if Turkey offered, then we could say yes, but not the North. So your arch enemy can send you help, but not fellow Cypriots that share the same air? This doesn't make sense to me.
That is so damn stupid.
So in every way, Turkey's okay, but not us. For example, when I went to go get my passport in the south, I said, okay, I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to be a real Cypriot. Hadi. I go to the office. They told me, where were your parents born? I said, Cyprus. Okay, I told them. I showed them the passports. Hadi. Where were your parents married? I said, in the north. He told me, you're a bastard. I was like, what?
What?
I'm a bastard.
He didn't
yes, he
say
did.
that. No, he
Yes.
didn't say
Yes,
that.
at the office he said this, and he had a little thing like this. Actually, you're a bastard. Put the thing, and I had to go outside. So I said, okay. I went outside, and I started crying. And then the guy that owned, or not the guy that owned, but the guy that worked in the car park, he told me, Korimu, what's wrong? I said, the guy inside, he told me I'm a bastard. And he's like, what? He's like, no. He's like, come. I know the guy that works upstairs. So he took me upstairs to the actual Minister of Interior. So I was just talking to a guy that worked in the guichet, in the front desk, okay? He was just a normal worker guy. But this guy was the one that makes a stamp. So I went upstairs. He told me, why you're crying, Korimu? Why? I said, because they called me a bastard. He said, listen, even though it's so fucked up, this is what the government thinks. Anything that happens in the north doesn't exist. It's not real and it doesn't exist. If you were born there, you're not born. If you were married there, you're not married. If you have a dog with a license, it's not real.
It's not approved.
It's not approved. So it's like fictional. So I told him, for example, in Canada, we have many Palestinians, okay? So they're married, but they're not married under the state of Israel. But we don't tell these people, you're not married or your children are bastards. How come someone can say this to me? And he told me, I understand you, but this is how they think. Your dad's going to sign a paper that says you were born out of wedlock. Hade. Now I called my dad. You need to sign this paper. He said, I'm going to what? I can't sign this paper. I said, look, you have to sign this paper. It's the only way. You're going to say that I was born out of wedlock. So what do Turkish-speaking Cypriots need to do now? It's weird. We get married in the north, right? Then they have to go to Turkey and get married there. So once they get married in Turkey, then they can get the passport. So if Turkey is the enemy, why do you accept Turkish marriage? It doesn't make sense to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems
So
like
funny,
in every way it turns around,
It's like
and the Turkish Cypriots are bad.
Yeah. Hey, Selay, can I ask you something? Let's say that somebody listens to this podcast right now.
They'll be like this.
No. And he's from the Greek part, right? He's Greek Cypriot, and he's like, all right, I hear you. I like you. You seem like a very good person. And I agree with what you're saying. But I don't trust the Turkish part. I mean, you're saying right now something that it makes me, what do you say about this? Like, he says, we want to be one, but I don't trust the motherland.
Look, for example, what was the reason why Turkish-speaking Cypriots were a threat to Enosis anyway? So, Enosis, according to Grivas and according to Makarios, could never happen if there was still a Turkish Cypriot community here. Because then, at any point, if something goes wrong, Turkey would come in, right? Because they're the guarantor power. So that's always the risk. Turkish-speaking Cypriots always worry about the Cretan problem. So just like in Crete, there were 47% Turkish Cretans there, and they got expelled. So the fear of the Greek-speaking Cypriots is the Smyrni catastrophe, and our fear is the Cretan catastrophe. So everyone's afraid of something else. Enosis for us means we're over. But the weird thing is, Turkish-speaking Cypriots never wanted enosis with Turkey. Even though we're the small guys, we're just the 20%, we always wanted to be just independent. We never wanted to be one with Turkey. That was never Taksim. You know Taksim? You had enosis, we had Taksim. Taksim is not enosis. It's not the same. It's not like we will be one. No, we wanted to be our own community. Always. Now, just this year, this new idea of partition came. But this partition, I don't believe, is going to be only about Turkish Cypriots. Because it seems like things are changing. I don't know if you heard about this. About a month ago, there was a little scandal with the Quran courses.
No.
Okay, so basically what happened was the government wanted to be able to control the person in charge of the Quran courses. So they weren't canceling Quran courses. Although many people in the north are not religious, maybe some settlers are, maybe some other immigrants or students or something want to join this, okay, there's no ban on it. But they turned everything around, and the president said from the mainland that we are not France. We cannot make decisions like this on our own. Whatever happens in Turkey is going to happen in the north. So as much as we believe that we could be independent and we can have our own state if there was such a thing as partition, he just basically told you in one sentence that you can't. So we're stuck in the middle. It's like a quicksand.
Yeah. You know, this is a thing. I mean, I'm telling you this, and that's why I asked you before, because I have this question in my mind. I mean, as a person, maybe I'm like, you know what? I do want this to be over. But I don't trust Turkey. I don't trust Turkey sometimes. And maybe you don't trust Greece also, you know. And especially I don't trust the government that is ruling Turkey right now. Because I've seen so many things, you know, even in Turkey, even against. I mean, we're talking about a country who doesn't allow Twitter, doesn't allow the freedom of speech.
Lots of people have Twitter, but everything you write on Twitter, you're accountable for. So if you write something weird on it, you can get fired from your job. You can even go to court for it, or maybe even the gendarme can show up at your house.
Gendarme is
It's like the special police.
Ooh.
They can show up at your house.
Don't want to mess up with them, huh?
I don't even have Twitter. I can't do it. So, I mean, freedom of speech, if you are boasting their rhetoric, but freedom against what they want,
that's not freedom of speech.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, and we've seen it in many countries happen like that. You know, I've seen this in China, and I've seen it in many countries.
How much do you think Greece has a say in the Republic of Cyprus, ROC?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, we are very tied with Turkey at the moment. So Turkey is driving our politics at the moment. Do you think that Greece has anything to do with Cypriot politics at the moment?
I don't know.
Because when I talk about these, I debate with my father all the time. It's like he loves trying to like catch me, and I love trying to catch him. And he's always telling me, look, as much as it doesn't seem obvious now, Cyprus is always thinking about what Athens will say about their next move. Because it doesn't seem like they care, but they do. Because at the end of the day, we're living in the shadow of these mother countries. So if we make a decision, for example, we're going to unite with the North, what's Athens going to say? Good job. Or, hey, remember what they did? Hey, how can you forgive them? This is the thing. Like, I feel like every time we try to make a move forward, someone tries to tell us, but remember they killed your family? But remember they took your home? But remember they live in the home? So they keep on trying to suck you back into those old things. And they just won't let us move on. Yeah. There's a group on Facebook called Frozen Cypriots. And I really love the term because we are frozen. We've been frozen for 50 years. We can't move. We can't go forward. We can't go back. And every day we're wondering, like, what's going to happen now?
And every move you do, it's basically, it's a zero.
It's like a landmine. It's like a landmine.
Takes
every
forever.
single move that you make, it's like, well, what's going to happen now? You know, we all got excited a few years ago when Akıncı was in power. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe we're going to join.
Yeah, we all thought it was going to happen.
It looked like it was the time. We have a place that we go to, one of the hotels. Like, you know, it's funny because every time we come to the South, we meet some people, and usually, you know, Cypriots own their places. They own their coffee shop, or they own their hotel, or they own their whatever. It's like a thing, we don't like to work for people. So we usually do our own work by ourselves. So every place that we went, we met the owners, and now we love them, so we keep going to the same places. So this one guy, he owns a hotel called Mistral in Limassol on the Strip. So we always go and we stay there. Even though maybe it's not the biggest hotel or the best hotel, we know him. He's a Buffetti too. So we joke with him, we talk with him. He said, I prepared my luggage. I see a luggage here, you know, full. He said, I prepared my luggage. I kept the luggage at the door. I'm waiting to go back.
Wow.
We're waiting to go back. He said, I know many people like that. We packed our bags and we're waiting. But the thing is, the Turkish-speaking Cypriots never did that because they made us forget about it.
Forget about it, yeah.
Because it's
they
not
because
possible.
they told you You're staying here forever.
Yeah, the thing is, it's in one way, they didn't give us false hopes, which is good, because I feel like we did heal a little bit better. But in another way, it killed the hope. So a lot of people tell me, what can you do? What can you do? What can I do? Every time someone says that, we take a step back. Maybe I can do something. I brought lots of people together already.
You're here.
Yeah, I'm here. And like, I've met so many people. I feel like I have 6,000 cousins now. I already thought I had like 5,000, but now I have 6,000 cousins. Because I feel like now, if I ever go to Australia, I have family. If I ever go to England, I have family. If I go to South Africa, I have family. So many Cypriots from around the world joined my page, and they tell me about their experiences.
And because your page, it reflects yourself, and you have this charming, and you're very smart. You know what you're doing.
I like writing. Yeah. I was always into it. My mom is actually like a poem. She wants to write a book. She's a poet, and she's like working on her poems. And in Canada, I was embarrassed. I always used to say, "Oh, I don't want anyone to read them." Oh my God, feelings. Ugh. You know what? In university, I took an online poetry class in university. I said, okay, no one's going to know. So I was writing there. We went for one exam. People told me, are you so-and-so? I'm like, how did they know? How did they know? Because I think we have a feelings problem in Cyprus. We don't like to show our feelings. I feel like when you show your feelings, they think you're weak.
You're naked.
Yeah, you're like vulnerable, you're weak. So we don't want to show people our feelings. Feelings, never.
That is true, you know. We have an issue with that. You know, we're such a small country that we're afraid to share our feelings. And I believe that the most beautiful thing in this world is to share your feelings, you know.
I mean, but you have to be confident for that. And I feel like lots of Cypriots are good looking, they're smart, they come from good families, they've been around the world, but they still don't have confidence.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe because I grew up in a different, in another country for years, so I share my feelings 100%. Actually, I cannot lie. And in the podcast,
I think most Cypriots don't like lying, and they can't do it.
Yeah, at the podcast, I mean, what I'm doing every time to the person, I just express my feelings about, you know, I'm sharing my feelings about you for the whole time, because that's the main, I don't know, that's one of the part of it, you know. I have to show you what I feel about you, you know, in a totally clear way, in a nice way.
I mean, even if you don't say the exact words, you can understand from your mannerisms and from the things that you say. But even like, my parents didn't teach me to be a hardcore Muslim or anything. They told me, be a good girl, don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, and treat everybody as your equal. That's it. Oh. Just 5 things they told me, and
you don't need anything else.
Yeah, and that's
it. You don't need anything else. You don't need. Hey, what is your dream about Cyprus?
My dream for Cyprus is that everybody sees the truth for what it is. I feel like the first thing, as a teacher, of course, education is key. For example, the one thing that my Greek-speaking Cypriot friends told me about the South is that the only financial help that Cypriots get from Greece is for the education system. That's dangerous. So that means that you only teach what they want you to teach. And I heard even in the North, when someone comes into power, for example, say they're left, all the books change for the left. If they're right, all the books change for the right. No, there's no changing books. We should not, on both sides, and we should have a common book. We should have a common history that explains both. So I talked to many people about, you know, the education that they got in Cyprus, in the North. What did you learn about the Greeks? They said, we learned only about the killings. So they went to those places, Sandallar, Morata. They went as like a field trip, but now they don't do that anymore. But they never told them about the good times. They told them about what happened between us, but they never said they're bad or this or that. This is war. This happens in war. This is something that we understood. For us, as you guys think, it's all Turkey's fault. So we think it's Greece's fault. So in our brain, it's like that.
So that's why things are frozen.
Greek-speaking Cypriots didn't do anything. It was the Greeks from Greece that tricked them. Because we're simple and we're innocent people and we got tricked. So that's what we feel. Like, that's the view.
That's the view, huh?
Yeah.
So we're dreaming for a better future, a united Cyprus.
So that's why I feel like, you know, when we say, he's nationalistic, she's nationalistic. Nationalistic to whose country? We need to have our own nationalism.
Exactly.
We need a national anthem.
We need a national anthem. We
Our
need
own
a
anthem.
flag. We need something that, you know, I mean, sometimes we've discussed this many further times with friends that we say that we don't feel this country as our country. We feel the other countries, like I see how the Americans or the Canadians or the British are with their flag, and I mean the Italians. I see them in the European Cup a few days ago, and they're screaming. They're screaming about their national anthem, and you're like, I don't want to be a nationalist, but I would love to appreciate my country as much as possible. You know.
But the problem is, like, we didn't even apparently we had one, but then someone threw it away. Yeah. So you guys have this anthem, and we have this anthem. I told many people this before. A national anthem is so important because imagine how many times you hear it in the course of your life. You would hear it every single day at school. You would hear it on holidays. You would hear it on the radio. You would remember the tune. You would remember the words. If there was some national anthem that talked about both of the communities or all of our communities living here, because we can't forget about the Armenian Cypriots too. We can't forget about the Maronite Cypriots too. We can't forget about all the Latins living here, because it's always like a Greek-Turkish problem. So what about all the other people that have been living here for hundreds of years? So we always forget them because the biggest issue we have is between the two communities that fight the most. So first we have to deal with their issues, then we can move on to the other ones. But if we had a national anthem that included all of us, and every time we heard it and sung it, we would feel more Cypriot. But every time I hear the Turkish national anthem, I feel like, okay, I'm singing this, but in Turkey they don't think I'm Turkish. Because they don't. When I lived there, they would constantly tell me, you're not Turkish. What's your religion over there in Cyprus? Do you guys speak Turkish in Cyprus? I'm like, what are we speaking now, man? Like, why would you think I'm speaking something else? Because our accent is so different, that they thought that I just learned it yesterday. This is just our accent, you know? Like, they don't know. Most of them ask me if I'm Christian or Muslim. Imagine if I was a religious person, that would be very offensive.
Very offensive, yeah. Or the opposite.
Yeah. Like, if they're asking you in Greece, so are you guys Muslim? You'd be like, what? Why don't you know about me? How come we know everything about you? We know every war. We know every episode. We know every Ottoman. We know every Sultan, but you don't know about us? It's sad.
We're not aliens.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, before we close, before we end up this, I want to say this. I think your Instagram page is going to grow, and I think it's the beginning of something that is going to be out of the Instagram. I think you're going to come up with a website or something, or you told me something before that is so good. You told me that, why don't we have a book?
Yes.
And why I'm asking you, why don't you write this book? You love writing. You're a teacher. You're into books. And why don't you?
For me, I do want to write children's books. Children's books about something like the muflon can be a character. The careta can be a character.
See, you have the
ideas. Can be a character.
You have everything. You have all the tools. And I'm sure that, you have something in your back on your mind right now.
But we need both communities working together on this.
Yeah, but you know what? You have all the weapons to start. And I think you're the right person.
To collect the data.
Collect the data, write the data, put it on. And you know what? You have a voice. You have a voice. You have a voice. You're smart. And you're talented on what you're doing. I think you should do something. And trust me, I will listen to it. I will buy it. I will give it to my
future children.
Children. Are you wishing me to have kids? Are you asking me right now to have kids? So, I think your Instagram page, it's the beginning. It's a start. I don't think you're going to stay here. You've seen the movement. You see how things are changing. And you've seen how many people are following you because of this.
This was my personal journey for myself to become more Cypriot. As I told you, like when you're born abroad, you always feel like you're not Cypriot enough. And I know a lot of people on the page have the same sentiment. Like, I want to find my Cypriotness. I want to understand my Cypriotness. And I feel like we're all kind of on this journey together. So we're learning that there's so much that we don't know.
Yeah.
And there's so much information out there that we can actually grab and read. And it is available, but you have to dig for it. And the point is, Cypriots don't like working that hard to find things. We accept what people tell us. We've been doing this forever. You know, they referred to Cyprus as the reluctant republic because we weren't ever given a chance to rule. We were never given that power to think for ourselves. It's easy to follow directions, but it's hard to make decisions on your own. Yeah. So we need to do that. As a country, make decisions on our own for our own people.
Think more and speak less.
Yeah.
And act more.
Yeah.
You need to act.
I feel like this is what I told you. A lot of people tell me, what can I do? What can I do?
There's
Lots
so
of
many
people
things you can
started with this. What can I do? But they tried.
Yeah.
If I don't try, then I lose. And Cyprus loses. And our people lose. We have to try.
And why to blame others when I'm sitting on a couch with a remote control and just bitching about it?
Watching our lives go by.
Yeah, exactly.
And do nothing.
What did you do?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most important question. Because people right now, they do this. They have this phone and they're like, and I so want to reply back to them. Even on podcasts, sometimes they might say something and we're like, all right, who are you and what did you do?
You know, it's
what
funny.
are you doing about this?
There was a lot of religious people, even in Canada or in America, they used to have this little magnet on their fridge. What have you done for God lately? I want to make a new magnet. What have you done for Cyprus lately?
Yeah.
We need this.
You should.
Every day, we need to wake up and think, what have I done for this country?
You have all those things, put it on, create a book, first of all, start a book with your kids, and then maybe you can do your Instagram page, you can do it as a book, like different foods and stuff and everything, and share it. And you will find so many help, and people will love it.
One thing, for example, during the time of Akıncı, he was saying, like, we want to take students to the south and we want students to come to the north to exchange. But we went to the south, but they never brought them to the north because once you come to the north, that means you legitimize this illegitimate state.
Yeah, you accept the proof.
Yeah. So if we're not going to do this, then it's not going to work. So even some things I talked with my committee about was like maybe making some organization that goes to the schools. For example, these kids, what do they know about Cypriot cuisine? Only what their parents teach them. What if their parents aren't cooks? For example, as we get along in time, you're going to learn or know less about cooking. Then your kids are going to learn less about cooking. And so we're going to lose that culture. So we should be teaching this in school also. When I worked in Istanbul, one girl, her name's Refika, and actually she's half Cypriot, half Turkish Cypriot. She taught everybody how to make cheese. She came to school and she, on a large scale, everybody had like the ingredients on the table and we learned how to make cheese. The kids loved it. First I thought, cheese? What are the kids are going to make cheese? They loved it. So imagine we have a group of people from the south and from the north going to schools in the north and in the south, teaching them how to make muhallebi, teaching them how to make böreki, teaching them how to do things like the Cypriot way. Yeah. So this could be something to solve the problem.
Start from something. Start from the easy. Start from the fun.
Yeah.
Start for fun.
And the thing is, kids are the ones that we need to reach.
Exactly.
Tomorrow. Because they're the future.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the future.
Yeah, exactly.
How much future do we have left?
Yeah. Hey, it was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure. I'm so happy, I think I have a friend now.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like a lot of people now, I know them so much, like more than my friends in Canada.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things in common.
Exactly. We look alike, We have so many things alike. It was a pleasure. I'm so happy you came. And
I'm
I
so happy
thank
you invited me.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, and I really, really appreciate that you came here, and I really appreciate that you do everything to be here. Like with COVID and stuff right now. I hope you liked it.
I did, definitely.
And
thank you for inviting
as I
me.
promised you from the beginning, I'm not gonna create any topics or anything. I don't have those tough questions.
I was worried, like, what were you going to ask me?
No.
What's going to be said?
No, you know what? I just wanted to have a chat. I just want to have a talk, share with a coffee, and get to know each other. You said something nice at the beginning. We need to get to know each other. And we started get to know each other through 3 cameras and 2 microphones. So that was the best thing we did.
So now in the future, if I think about something that you might be able to help me with, you'll say yes.
Exactly.
If you think about something that I could possibly help you with, we'll say yes. And even as a network, like I said, it's hard in Cyprus to know what's going on. So I'm trying to collect information from everyone to tell the people what's going on. Because we're clueless.
Yeah. And I'll meet you my friends, and you meet me your friends. And we become a new community. With
more
no
cousins.
Borders. More cousins.
All cousins.
Yeah, all cousins. More cousins, more troubles. That's what we say on Sundays. When we meet twice a year, like, I'm just kidding.
My cousins are like very close with me. Even closer than my sisters.
We are also. We go to dinners and stuff.
We go clubbing, we go around.
We go partying,
Adventures around Cyprus.
All right. So this one is called Oza.
Yes. This is the coffee choice of Famagustins or Mausa.
All right.
So for Turkish-speaking Cypriots, we have some kinds of coffee snobbery. Some places like Lefkoşa only drink John. Some places only drink Sultan. Some places only the older generation, because this might be a little bit hard on their stomach, because the real one is the dark roast.
This one is the dark or
the
medium?
This is medium. I wasn't sure if you could handle the dark.
Yeah.
So the dark roast, all of my mom's friends don't like. They drink Mehmet Efendi. So when they go to a restaurant, they'll say, I'd like a Turkish coffee. They'll say, okay, so which kind? And the people will name off the ones that they want. If they don't have it, no, I won't drink it.
Oh, shit.
And that never happens in Turkey, and I'm sure it never happens here. You drink whatever they give you. Right?
I just ask for a coffee.
Yeah.
That's it,
But for us, now it's like, oh, do you have, even when they come to your house, we had one day my mom invited someone to come clean the house. She needed help.
So how many coffees do you have in my house?
You have to have like 5 different types.
Oh, man. You tell me that when I'm going to invite you to my house,
Well, it's not the
Buy
same.
all that.
It's not the same for you. But even the cleaner told my mom, I only drink Oza. My mom said, we have Mehmet Efendi. If you're drinking it, drink it. If you're not drinking it, I don't care.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to say this. We have everything but coffee.
Exactly. You can drink water. Limonata for you.
Yeah, of course. And you're done.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best. All right. You're a sweetheart.
Thank you for the Cypriot with sign for thinking of me and suggesting me.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here.
Thank you
I wish
so
you
much.
Nothing but the best.
Hopefully.
Cheers.
Everything for Cyprus.
Thanks.
Zulu.